trigger warning, there probably is going to be a little bit of cursing in this video, so sorry if you don't like that. Hey guys, it's Blaze. If you hear cuteness in the background, that's Dexter, not me. Secondly, you don't have to point out my makeup. I tried going for like a vampy, gothy, cool, it's Halloween time, spooky look, and this is what happened. But I'm really trying to bring out my inner Bob Ross and just look at it as we don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. Can you tell how happy I am about this accident? Can you see how happy I am? Okay, so this, as you can tell by the title of this video, is going to piss 98%, I'm going to say 98.3% of the horror community way off. I'm ready to piss off a lot of people. This is actually the Halloween video I've been hinting at for a while. I actually meant to do this 2 Halloweens ago, when the new Halloween came out. And I just never got around to it, and I didn't take enough notes, and I just didn't know how I wanted to go about it. But this is how I'm going to go about it. I'm going to talk straightforward. I did take some notes. I want to do this as fair as possible, and try not to have a million people hate me. But this is my opinion, and I'm sticking to it, and I will give you the reasons why this is my opinion. And everything. So this video is why I believe Rob Zombie's Halloween movies are better than John Carpenter's Halloween movies. Sorry, not sorry. There's a lot of people who have been, actually not a lot of people, a few people who have said, Blaze, you're biased. I will get to that. Trust me. Also, spoiler alerts. If you have not seen any of these movies and you want to, don't watch this. Go watch those movies and then come back, except Halloween 3. Please, don't ever watch Halloween 3, ever in your life. Back in October, it was either September or October of 2018 when the new Halloween movie had come out. I actually did do a mini rant on a Dollar Tree haul video because I was so angry about how they were going about it, but let's start from the beginning. So in 1978, I believe was the year. I am not a historian, okay? I didn't look up these facts, but this is from what I know from being a horror movie fanatic since I was 5 years old. In 1978, John Carpenter came out with a movie called Halloween, and it was revolutionary for the horror community because it was really it wasn't the first slasher, but it was like the real first slasher that really got people's attention, and it really was the first of its kind. So props to John Carpenter. I have no beef with John Carpenter whatsoever. To sum up the movie, basically there was a kid, his name was Michael Myers. The movie opens up, very long credits by the way, but still, I actually kind of liked it. It's very creepy. Opens up, kid, you don't see him at all, you just hear his breathing behind a mask, and his older sister and her boyfriend do it in like in the span of maybe 20 seconds, so that kind of sucks. And all you see is 6-year-old Michael Myers. You don't know that he's 6 at the time. You don't even know his name or his relation or anything at this time. And you just see a butcher knife stabbing away at his poor older sister as she's brushing her hair naked in front of her vanity. It opens up, and then his mask is removed by his parents, and they're just like, Michael? Then we jump forward just a ton of years later, and you're like, well, what the hell happened? He was in an insane asylum for the criminally insane, and he busted out somehow. I guess, you know, things were not really stable in the 70s. Well, they weren't. They still aren't, but, you know, whatever. So he busts out, drives to Haddonfield. By the way, that's where all of this takes place, in Haddonfield, Illinois, which I don't believe there actually is a Haddonfield in Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. So he somehow, this guy who's been in this insane asylum since he was 6 years old, he's now 20 something, drives a car from where he's been all the way to Haddonfield, Illinois, and stalks Jamie Lee Curtis's character, Laurie Strode, and her friends, and it's weird. They're babysitters, they're having sex, they're doing all these things that teenagers should not be doing. It's very not, let me just say, I love Jamie Lee Curtis, not for this role. Sorry, not sorry. So after a full day of stalking, two of the girls have to babysit different children who happen to live on the same street. And he goes and he just starts killing all of them. Every one of them and their boyfriends. And at the end of the movie, the doctor, played by Donald Pleasance, who is so very pleasant. I love Donald. I think he did an amazing job. I'm not taking anything away from him. Yeah, by the way, he followed him from the insane asylum, trying to find him, and was like trying to warn everybody, oh my god, he's black eyes, he has no soul, he's a demon child. I think my mother is choking to death. Okay, good. He's in Haddonfield trying to warn everybody, especially the sheriff, and everybody, of course, is not taking him seriously because he's like a lunatic or whatever, but he's not. He's a doctor, so I don't know why they're not taking him seriously. But he goes, and then he finally reaches Lori, and she's like screaming and fighting him off, and the kids are running, and everything's happening. He doesn't kill Lori, and Dr. Loomis, played by Donald, shoots him out of a window. He lands on his back on the ground from the second story. And it ends with him just being gone. Like, they look out the window, he's not there. Duh-duh. The end. There's like 84 movies afterwards. Only 2 or 3 of them are relevant. Well, not anymore, as you will see, which is one of my problems. Jamie Lee Curtis does come back in Halloween 2, where she is in the hospital from that night. It does like stem from that night and then keeps going in the hospital and everything like that, and we find out that Lori is actually his younger sister, and he was chasing her, going after her because he wanted, I guess, to kill his sisters. Why? I don't know. It's never explained to us. Why didn't he want to kill his parents? Maybe he did want to kill his parents. We don't know anything. There's no real backstory. My favorite Halloweens is not even the first Halloween. Surprise, surprise. By John Carpenter. Let me just say, the John Carpenter Halloweens. 3 and 4 are by far the best Halloweens in John Carpenter's Halloween series. If you have not seen them, please go watch them. Watch the series, except 3. 3 has nothing to do with anything that will ever go on, okay? Halloween 4 and 5 really did it, and I think that without Danielle Harris playing Jamie, it would probably be a lot different. But even Family Guy mentioned that Peter's favorite movie was Halloween 4. They're amazing movies. So if I had to recommend any of the Halloween movies besides the first one, 3 and 4, 4 and 5, 4 and 5. That's it. Don't watch the other ones, please. The thing is, my problem is we get no backstory. We don't get to like know Michael and why it is he did the things he did and what his motives were or what made him become this way. Did he have a troubled childhood? What were his parents like? What was his sister like? Why did he want to kill her? Why did he want to be just the serial killer's mass killer, just start killing everybody? We don't know. We are never told any of this in any of the movies until we get to Halloween. I don't even remember what the hell it is or what it's called or what number it is because it is so irrelevant. The only thing I remember is Paul Rudd is in it and he looks exactly the same in that movie, and it was in the late 90s that he does now, which is creepy. Vampire, he's a vampire. I remember the dial-up internet was really fun, and like they do some kind of half-assed explanation, like some cult made him, like they worshipped him, and like people that were in part of the insane asylum, like the people who worked there helped him escape or some bull crap like that. Like it was all due to like a cult that worshipped him. Okay, were his parents part of the cult? Is that how she got impregnated with Michael? This is all stuff we never find out, and come to find out, it doesn't even matter. You know why? Because in 2018, John Carpenter, well, not himself, but John Carpenter's Halloween came out with a new movie called Halloween. This one you guys have probably seen more if you are not in like the horror community, but like you watch movies that are more up to date. So Jamie Lee Curtis does reprise her role, come back as Laurie Strode. Fantastic. I love seeing Jamie Lee Curtis whenever I can. Like I said, fantastic actress and a fantastic human being. She really is. I really do love her. For this role, I do not. But here's the problem. This Halloween, the newest Halloween from 2018, you are supposed to forget every single Halloween that had happened after Halloween 1, the original. None of that mattered. None of it ever happened. She had 2 children, Danielle Harris and Josh Hartnett. She had 2 kids. No, she never did. Now she has Judy Greer as her only child. So none of that ever matters. None of the Halloweens after the first Halloween ever. It's like the Men in Black little thing. Just pretend, forget it ever even freaking happened. They never happened, okay? Not only that, the ending to the first one didn't happen the way it happened either. Apparently, when Dr. Loomis shot him out of the window, they just took him into custody. He didn't run away or get away or anything like that. They took him into custody and he was all of a sudden just in the insane asylum for the criminally insane. For years and years and years and years, for like 40 years or something, and then this Halloween happened. So, none of the Halloweens, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, Resurrection, no, none of it ever happened. They came out with all of these movies and had actually some decency in them, and we're supposed to forget any of it ever happened. No, I'm not gonna forget. Never forget. Not me, bitch.
That just makes no fucking sense. I mean, it's just bullshit.
That is what pissed me off so much about the new movie, other than it being called Halloween. We already have John Carpenter's Halloween. Then we have Rob Zombie's Halloween. And now we have another John Carpenter's Halloween. Can we think of something else to call it? Now, why are Rob Zombie's remakes of Halloween better? They are better. With Rob Zombie's Halloween remake, we open up to a young Michael Myers, and we actually, for a good little portion of the movie, get to see him as a child on his day-to-day basis, on what his daily life is like. We get to meet his sister Judith. We get to meet his mother's abusive boyfriend. We get to meet his mother, played by my idol, Sherry Moon Zombie, who, that's another reason why people say I'm biased, but I'm not. We even get to meet Laurie, who's not Laurie. We just know her as Boo in this movie because that's what he calls her. So we get to see the family dynamic at least in one day. So when you open up, you see just a young Michael Myers wearing his Halloween mask. It is Halloween, and he's playing animal cruelty talk right now. I'm not going to put it up on screen at all, even though it's fake. I still don't want to put you guys through that. So he has some pet rats, and he kills one. Even though he loves them, he kills them. And we find out a little bit, like a few minutes later in the movie, when she's called to the principal's office because he's having trouble in school with being violent. See, these are things you'd like to know in the first movie. Principal opens up his backpack because he calls in Sherry Moon Zombie's character and his mother, and shows them a ton of Polaroids that he took of dead animals that he, I guess, supposedly killed himself and was just messing around with them because he likes killing animals. And we all know that's not a good sign. By the way, this Michael Myers, I believe, is 10 years old in this movie and is played by, please, I'm going to butcher this name, so I'm going to put it up on screen. And if you are fluent in French and everything like that, please tell me the correct pronunciation because I'm going to butcher it. It's Dage or Dague Fesh or Fesh or Feck. He's French. Okay, well, at least his family's French. He does a stellar job as a young Michael Myers. I mean, you couldn't have picked a better person to play a young Michael Myers than this kid. He did fabulous. This was like his first acting job. He also was like in Hancock for a second, where he was just like asshole, you know, he was like the Michelle, that little I think that's what his name was, just the one that he threw up in the air and was like, stop being a little shit. He played that kid too. Anyway, going back, you see his home life, that his mother is a single mother. She has a very dickhead, abusive boyfriend who treats Michael like shit, hits on her daughter, Judith, who is a teenager at the time. She is younger. And you just see that he is violent. He is verbally abusive. So he's an all-around shithead, and him and Michael do not get along. Surprise, surprise. And you see the dynamic between Michael and his mother, and how he loves his mother. Like, besides his baby sister, Boo, she's the only one he actually has love for in the entire world. He hates his sister Judith, him and his sister. It does seem kind of like your typical big older sibling, younger sibling behavior, but she kind of does take it too far with how much she makes fun of him. You know what I mean? So she's a bitch, and he's a psychopath, and the boyfriend's an asshole, and the mother's just like trying the best just to keep it all together. And baby Boo is just screaming because, like, why wouldn't she be? Like, she's in hell. Like I said, then you see him at school for a few minutes where there are kids who are bullies and do start fighting with him, and he becomes violent back, you know, and so you see that he's not liked at school either, and that he's picked on at school. So he's being picked on at home, being picked on at school, and you do feel some sympathy for him, you know, and empathy. It's like, because I was bullied horribly at school. I was not a psychopath, but I was bullied horribly at school, and you know, sometimes it got to me where I wanted to get violent, not to kill anybody. But so one of the kids who did start picking this fight with him in the bathroom, they're all getting suspended, and they have Dr. Loomis come in to talk with Michael's mother, who is played by none other than Malcolm McDowell, who I gotta say is the best Dr. Loomis. Sorry, again, not sorry. So he's talking to Mrs. Myers and saying he wants to evaluate her son because he's very concerned that he is a psychopath, that he is violent, and he's very, very dangerous. And she doesn't want to believe this because she loves her son very, very much, and she's just going through a lot. She's a stripper, so she does, I'm sorry, I don't know if we're supposed to call them strippers anymore. Are strippers considered sex workers? I guess not, because they don't, well, some of them do, but okay. So she's a stripper. She's an exotic dancer, okay? She's making almost no money, and she's got 3 kids to take care of. Michael's father died. We don't know any information about him, so we don't know what his relationship was like with his father. It does seem that Judith may have been close to her father from the reaction she gets when her boyfriend accidentally calls Mrs. Myers' boyfriend her father, and she's like, he's not my dad passed away, my dad's in heaven, and she got like really angry about it. So it seems like Michael's father was a good guy, but he passed away. So this is like all over the place, but this is what happens when you have ADD. I'm sorry, this is just how my brain is working. So one of the kids who was picking on him is walking home, and Michael follows him quietly with his Halloween mask on, his clown mask on, and follows him into the woods and starts beating him literally to death, to a bloody pulp, where he's begging and crying and saying, please stop, I'm sorry, but he does not stop. He kills him, and this is his first, what we know as his first official human kill. Then later on that night, he goes home and he's like, I want to go trick-or-treating, and he's acting like just like a normal kid again. So you can see how he can kind of switch it on and off. Or he's both. He's like, he can be this like sweet, adorable, loving, normal little 10-year-old kid, but he's also a violent sociopath, psychopath, murderer who needs to be institutionalized. And it's sad, actually. It's actually really sad. So his mother does not have Halloween off. She says Judith, go take your brother trick-or-treating, and she's like, okay, fine, but then she doesn't. Her boyfriend comes over to have sex, obviously, and so they don't go trick-or-treating, and Michael is very, very upset about that. And hi, Dexter. Dexter's very upset about it too. Dexter's very upset. To sum up, basically, Michael then, you know, he goes trick-or-treating on his own, starts eating some circus peanuts and candy corn. Why in the hell? I mean, it's the late 70s, so I guess that was normal Halloween candy. Just like nowadays, why? I mean, eating circus peanuts and eating candy corn is a surefire sign that your child is a psychopath. But he's in the kitchen. You can see him thinking about what he's going to do. Should he do it or shouldn't he? Or how should he? He is thinking about what he's going to do. He then goes, tapes up and ties up his mother's boyfriend and slits his throat and watches him bleed to death and is happy about it. You know, he's a dick. Then he hides for a second because he sees that his sister's boyfriend is going downstairs to make himself a sandwich, like help yourself, in the kitchen, goes and beats him in with a baseball bat and just starts beating him to death and kills him. Then goes upstairs to his sister's room, kind of looks at her and starts kind of like touching her a little bit. She thinks it's her boyfriend. It's not. It's Michael, and then he kills her very slowly and violently. You see her walking down the hallway, bleeding to death, coughing up blood until he stabs her and she's dead. During this was also when you see that Judith's boyfriend came over with the Halloween mask. He had that to scare Judith, and before Michael kills his sister, he takes off his clown masks and puts on the Michael Myers mask. So that is the origin of where that came from, even though originally it really was a William Shatner mask. That's a true story. So after all this, he goes into his baby sister's room and he says, "Happy Halloween, boo." He takes her, they go outside, his mother comes home, she's like, "It's freezing, what the hell are you doing out here with the baby and everything?" And then she just goes like, "What happened?" Because she's looking at her son, and he's like, he has no emotion whatsoever. He's just kind of like sitting there in a daze, like he doesn't even remember what happened. Then you just cut to her screaming and crying, and they're wheeling her daughter out. It's like, why would you let her stand there watching her daughter be okay? Then you cut to him being in the insane asylum for the criminally insane, with Dr. Loomis. And this is less than a year later. So you're still seeing him develop as a child. This is what is so important in a movie, is backstory and to understand why they're doing the things that they're doing and what made him become this way. It couldn't be just like, oh, he's just a demon. It's just like, that's boring. That shit's boring. When you first see him in the insane asylum, he is acting, again, like a normal kid with Dr. Loomis, and Dr. Loomis even points this out on his recordings that he does to kind of keep record, that if you look at him, he looks like a little angel, like a blue-eyed, blonde-haired little angel, and sometimes he acts like that. You would never think that he was like this violent psychopath. Then over time, you slowly start to see him go a little bit darker, get a little bit quieter, start to just go back to being just not happy, wanting to go home, not understanding why he's even there in the first place. He says he doesn't even really remember much of what happened that night, and you know, it's up to I guess they leave it up to the viewers to decide whether or not he's really just putting on a front, or if this is who he really was as a child. Did he like go into these episodes where they were really violent, or was he really just putting on a show and letting, you know, people say, I have no idea what happened, I'm just a kid. I try to sum this up a little better. He winds up, I don't know why they give him actual silverware, but they decide he's going to stop talking and communicating, period. He's not even just gonna, his mother comes to visit him all the time, even though she's like, now she's got a baby to take care of, she's got a daughter who's been brutally murdered, a boyfriend who's been brutally murdered, and her son is in the insane asylum, so like she's going through it. But she comes to visit him all the time, and he won't even visit her. But on her last visit, she brings him a photograph of him and his baby sister. She, you know, thought he would like to have that. And he just does not react anymore. Dr. Loomis takes Mrs. Myers out walks her out of the insane asylum, and we're back in the cafeteria with just young Michael and a nurse. And for, like I said, for some reason they let him have metal utensils, and he straight up murders her because she looked at the picture and said that it was a cute looking baby, and because it was cute, it couldn't be related to him because he was an evil monster. Which, I mean, he was, but hey, he's a good looking kid. Shut the hell up, bitch. So then it's just like a whole bunch of screaming. Everybody's hysterical, like, how this happened? Why'd this happen? It's like, dude, you let him have knives and forks when he's murdered several people. What the hell did you expect to happen? And then we just cut straight to Mrs. Myers watching old home movies of her and Michael and Judith and everything like that, and the baby, and she's crying hysterically, and she shoots herself, and you just hear the baby screaming and crying in the background. And then we jump 15 years into the future, I believe, right? I believe it was 15 years. Whole bunch of stuff goes down in the insane asylum that I'm not even going to go through. There's some stuff that I don't even want to like mention on here because it's a Rob Zombie movie, so there's some assault and everything like that, some R word going on. It's not a very great place to be, but Danny Trejo works there, and he's like a really great guy. So, but he gets killed off too, so that really sucks. I like Danny Trejo. So then Michael escapes. He somehow is able to, hi Bubs. Sorry, if there is Dexter interruptions, that's gonna happen. I cannot say no to Dexter. Dexter is the boss of this house. So he escapes, and once again, like, I don't know how the hell he manages to go to Haddonfield, because he went in at 10 years old. It's like, who's teaching this kid how to drive? Who's teaching this man how to drive? Are they giving them driver's ed in the insane asylum for the criminally insane? I don't think so. We are then introduced to Laurie Strode, played by the incomparable Scout Taylor Compton, who I believe should have won an Emmy for her part in at least Halloween 2, because she was the exact right actress to portray Laurie Strode. And that's another thing that people are saying, Blaze, you're biased, you guys are like best friends. I wish we were, but we're not. We've spoken a couple of times. I reenacted on TikTok my favorite scene. I will get to that later. She did share that all over her social media. Me and her have like commented back and forth and liked each other's stuff and sent each other emojis, and she agreed that we should hang out sometime. So like, Scout, if you're watching this, I'll give you my phone number, so like message me somewhere, because like, you're amazing and awesome and beautiful, and you're just such a great person and a very underestimated actress. She really needs to be recognized. Hello. So you see Laurie as this like innocent, virginal teenager who just like doesn't like swearing. She doesn't like anything like that. She is just a very good, like a typical like Christian teenager. And her friends, Annie, who I do love that Rob did this. He brought back Danielle Harris, who was Laurie's daughter in Halloween's 4 and 5, to play Annie. I love that. Again, another thing I get people are saying I'm biased about, because I love Danielle Harris. She's a horror icon. She's been in other things. Hatchet, she was in 2 and 3. She's beautiful and awesome, and also another great actress. So yeah. So you see her two friends, Linda and Annie, who are your typical oversexed teenage girls who are just like, I don't know why. Like, yeah, like teenagers are like hypersexual, but like this hypersexual, I don't think so. That's more for the movie's sake, and more because that's kind of Rob Zombie's thing, not like teen sex, but like lots of sex. All right, let's move past it. So we do go with kind of the same thing that goes on in the original Halloween movies. Malcolm McDowell's character of Dr. Loomis does go to Haddonfield, tries to warn the sheriff, played by Dexter's eating my notes. Brad Dourif. Love him. Another horror legend. Hello. And of course, he's just like, again, he's like, by the way, he's Annie's father. I don't think I mentioned that, but yeah, he's Annie's father. And they're all like, I read your book, you're living off the blood of this town, leave it alone, you're chasing like ghosts, just get the fudge away from here. And in both movies, by the way, Michael Myers steals Judith's tombstone. Why he does that, neither movie really explains. I guess it's because the friend Linda reminded him a lot of Judith, so he just kind of wanted to like put Judith's tombstone there and be like, you're a skank, wear protection. So you do see the older Michael Myers going, killing, slashing lots of people, including Laurie's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Strode, and you don't see that in the first movie. All you see in the original Halloween is Laurie's father for like literally 2 seconds in the background of him just handing her the keys to go put in the Myers old house. That's all you know about her parents. So Mama Blaze is in here, and she heard me say that Scout deserves an Emmy. I meant to say Oscar, apparently. Yeah. An Oscar, because an Emmy. Ow, Dexter. Come on. This video is all over the place. So at least in Rob Zombie's movie, we do get to see Laurie's parents a little bit. We get to meet them a little bit first, and both the father and the mother, and it seems like they're one big happy family. And it is revealed in the first movie that Laurie is, in fact, adopted by Mr. and Mrs. Strode and was Michael Myers' little sister. Laurie does not find this out. This is between the sheriff and Dr. Loomis, who he tells. And Dr. Loomis is like, oh shit, that's why he's after her. Michael's doing his thing, stabbing and killing and doing all his slashery things, gets to Laurie and the kids escape. That's a good thing. I don't want to be watching a movie where they're murdering young children. Teenagers is fine, because seriously, screw teenagers. I can't stand them. Just kill them off. I don't care. And he kidnaps Laurie, takes her to the house, the abandoned Myers house, where he has Linda, and she's like freaking out, and he sits down in front of her, and she's like trying to plead with him. She's saying she wants to help him, she's sorry and everything, and he takes out the picture that his mother gave to him all those years ago of him and baby Laurie, and just shows it to her. And she's like, I don't understand, I don't know what's going on. And this is like really important. You're seeing that even now, to this day, now so many years later, 15, 16, 17 years later, he's still showing that he loved his little sister and still does. And I don't think in this version he ever meant to kill her or wanted to kill her. I think he wanted to abduct her and maybe like take her under his wing and be like, hey, want to be murder buddies? Let's do this. I'm good at it. I'm a good teacher. Let your big brother teach you how to slash up some over sexual teenagers and other people too, because just like screw people and animals. I kill animals too. I kill anything that breathes, maybe even trees. You want to kill some trees? I'll kill trees. But Laurie's still confused. She has no idea who he is. She has no idea who these people are in the picture. So she takes a knife, she stabs him, they go out, they have a brawl, and Dr. Loomis shows up, shoots Michael, and like she thinks it's okay. She brings him into the car and everything's okay. But Michael's really not dead, and he breaks through the window and everything, and then Dr. Loomis, and they're all like fighting it out. Loomis almost dies, Laurie almost dies, and then Michael goes out the window, Laurie goes with him, she lands on top of him, shoots him with a gun a bunch of times, and like just starts hitting and going insane. You just see blood all over her face, she's going crazy, and this is like new for her, because like she's an angel. That's gonna be ironic in about a minute or maybe 10, depending on where my brain decides to go. So that's all just the first movie of Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween. We get so much more information, we get so much more action, we get so much more everything in just his first movie than we did in almost every single Halloween movie that, well, now no longer is important or exists anymore, because that's not part of the storyline. They're actually making another Halloween movie that is going to continue with the newest Halloween movie. Jesus Christ. I'm not going to go into everything that happens in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. A lot of people hated it. I personally love it. I have an personal attachment to both of Rob Zombie's horror movies. My fiance Corey and I did go see the first Rob Zombie Halloween movie in theaters when it was first released, and me and Michael, my late boyfriend did see it for the first time together, like on our first official date. So does that make me biased? No, that makes me incredibly sad and triggers my PTSD. So this is what I want to say in regards to Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, other than it being really, really well done, is Scout's character of Laurie Strode. How it differs from Jamie Lee Curtis's. Now, I do understand, you have to take into account, one of them, the original is from the 70s, this is from the early 2000s. So there's obviously going to be a lot of differences, some things that are left out, some things that are better visually, so some things that are more appropriate for, you know, on screen. So I'm not stupid, I get that. Again, I have to look at my notes here because I do not know how to pronounce the name, or I don't even know what the other kid's name is. I wrote it down. They do still go back a couple times in the past to young Michael Myers and his mother, who Sherry Moon Zombie does come back in this movie for that one scene where they do go back, and then her ghost is just like haunting throughout the whole movie, and tries to like bring Laurie to the dark side with Michael. So unfortunately, the kid who originally played Michael Myers in the first one does not come back for the role, not because he did not want to and not because Rob Zombie did not want to cast him. It's because these films were filmed years apart, and he was like, I believe 11 years old when he filmed this, 10 or 11 years old when he filmed it. And since then, kid grew a lot, and it's supposed to be at the same exact time as the first movie, the young Michael Myers. So you can't really bring him back if he looks 5 years older. It's just going to be like, he did not look like that when he was in the asylum the first time. So they did have to pick another kid who I guess looked similar to me, did not do a great job. I'm not trying to pick on a kid. He's a child actor. Probably his first acting role too. You know, I have no hate towards him. It was played by Chase Wright Vennick, I believe is how you say his last name. Chase Wright Vennick or whatever. He's an adorable kid, but just does not give me Michael Myers vibes. But the main thing I want to focus on in this one is the personality change and the complete change in appearance, everything in Laurie's character, which should have happened in John Carpenter's Halloweens, which it did not. And this is where I say Scout did a tremendous job. And, you know, costume, makeup, Rob Zombie, everything. They all did a fantastic job doing this. They made her from this very clean-cut, very well done, just like I said, innocent, virginal, doesn't curse, doesn't, you know, cheat, doesn't do anything wrong girl, to now this completely just, sorry Ma, I know you're watching this video, but seriously, just fuck the world, fuck everything. Everything is horrible. Everything sucks. And she just becomes kind of this punk, grunge, goth, I don't give a shit kind of demeanor. And can you really blame her? Now she's a drinker, and she likes rock music, and she works at a record store, and she like rocks out and wears clothes that are like all ripped, and she swears all the time, and she has horrible nightmares, and she has psychological, like, it fucked with her psychologically. How can it not? You do see her with the, rest her soul, Margot Kidder, who played her psychiatrist in this movie. You see the dynamic between those two, which is the scene that I did reenact. I will link that scene down below, or if you would like, I'll try to link my TikTok to that. I don't know. Or maybe I'll put that in this video. I don't know. I'll do that somehow. But the scenes with her are intense, and they're amazing. She is not like I can say, I suffer from mental illness. Obviously, if you've been with me, you know this. And there have been times where I want to be a smartass to my psychiatrist, and I want to curse and just let her know how I really feel. But I don't, because I have to try to be polite. Even though I have to try to be honest and everything, I have to also be respectful and polite and not come off as a bitch. But Laurie doesn't give a shit. She says what's on her mind, she acts the way she acts, and you see her go, like I said, from this clean-cut, virginal little angel to just like this punk rock, kind of going insane bitch.
Are you doing your breathing exercises?
Breathing exercises?
Yes, it helps.
Breathing exercises aren't gonna cut it. Like, I can't deal with this.
Oh,
I'm not
honey,
strong enough, and I'm
you
tired
are
of pretending
strong.
that I am.
Look, Lori, listen to me. Stay with me. You are so much stronger than you think you are. You are. Now, come on, sit down. Sit down.
Better fucking let me go and give me some fucking prescription.
I'm going to give you some Haldol to tide you over.
Haldol?
And yes, Haldol. It'll take some of these thoughts away.
I
and
don't
we'll
want
do it
Haldol.
another
I
time.
want my prescription.
Oh, Lori, I'm so sorry you're going through this.
Fuck, you know what? Fuck you and fuck this. I'm tired of your, how are you, Lori? I'm so concerned at $100 an hour. You know what? I would be fucking concerned at $100 an hour.
And that is just so important, because even in the Halloween 2, the original one, where she's in the hospital, and yeah, it had just happened, and Halloween 2, I believe it's 2 years after the first one that it takes place, so she's had a couple years to have this happen. But Jamie Lee Curtis's character, yeah, they do show in a few, she only came back for a couple of the movies, but they do show her kind of being like scared and a little bit paranoid for all the right reasons. But you don't see her being like psychologically fucked up from all this. First of all, she's now finding out she was adopted. She never knew she was adopted. And now it's her brother who's trying to kill her. And she's all of her friends are dead. Her adopted parents are dead, I guess. They never really explained. They never showed him killing her adopted parents in the original. So I don't know what the hell happened to them. But so like, that's like, wouldn't that like just kind of have a little bit of effect on you? Oh, just a little bit. In Rob Zombies, we see Michael Myers kill Mr. and Mrs. Strode. We see him kill her friends. Besides Annie, who is in the second one, he does kill Annie, and it's just like one of the saddest scenes ever. It always breaks my heart in the second one. But she kills Linda. He kills their boyfriends. He kills all these people. So she's a little fucked, okay? Who wouldn't be? And Malcolm McDowell's character of Dr. Loomis does come back into the second movie as well. He's kind of a shithead because he's kind of making money off of like all these tragedies and everything. And he comes out with a new book on Halloween, or the day before Halloween. And Lori happens to see it and picks it up and reads it. And then in the book finds out she is indeed Michael Myers' sister. She did not know this. Yet she was having all these, throughout the whole movie, like these intense dreams and like seizures and everything like that of what we see Michael's, it's almost like his intensity and his thoughts are now becoming intertwined with hers, and almost like he is possessing her in a way. And Mrs. Myers too. I don't know why they had her do that, because Mrs. Myers was like a chill, good, hardworking woman. In the second one, they had her like, kill, sweetie, kill. We need to kill them all. And it's just like, why? I mean, I love her, but like, why? That was weird. So she finds out that her name is actually Angel Myers. That's why I said it was gonna be ironic that I said that. So basically, the movie ends with her being, you know, he kidnaps her again or whatever, and they go into a barn, and she's seeing Sherry Moon Zombie's character, which is just technically her birth mother, and saying, you know, come with us, stay with us, kill with us, like, be one of us. And you see little younger Michael Myers. He's always with older Michael Myers, who's now like a mountain man, which is weird. Again, there's some problems with Rob Zombies, and I'm gonna get into that, I promise. Basically, Michael kills Dr. Loomis, and Lori goes at the end. You see her, she picks up the gun, she points it, and all the police officers go and shoot at her like 17 times, yet she's not dead. Like Michael, you know, it seems like he kind of passed on maybe some of his powers into her. I don't know where his powers came from, because as far as we knew from the Rob Zombies version, he didn't have superpowers. He was just like a really big psychopath, and he was physically big, I mean, and also emotionally and mentally big psychopath. But they shoot her and they just end it with her in the long hallway of her in the insane asylum now, and her just looking at the camera and smirking like, okay, now I'm fully evil. And that is the only Halloweens that Rob Zombie has done. There was, at one point, supposed to be a Halloween 3. A part of me still wants that to happen. I want to see more. I'm more interested in Laurie's story than I am in Michael's story in these Halloween movies, because I would like to see what then transpires with Laurie afterwards. After that, does she now become the new Michael Myers? Did she escape? Does she go killing people? Who knows? I'm going to go through some pros just really quickly with John Carpenter's, what I prefer John Carpenter's movie over Rob Zombie. First, obviously, the iconic score, the music, the original Halloween music. It is a masterpiece. It's classic. You cannot touch it. Rob Zombie and a billion other people have done remakes, remixes, and like just done it, but have made it sound more like current music and everything like that. It doesn't sound the same. It's not as eerie. It's not as spooky. It's not as scary or like chilling. John Carpenter, the iconic score that will always, even the sting when he like stabs and they like, you know what I'm talking about? It's a really bad sound effect. But you know what I mean. He wins that, okay? Hands down. Hands down. Point to John Carpenter. Also, a point is that this was really the first of its kind in this movie genre to make it big, like a teen slasher movie. So you got to give him points to that for originality. You know, there were horror movies, there were violent horror movies that were popular, like Psycho, which again, one of my favorites, is iconic. But this was like the first real one where like teenagers were involved, and it was like a kid had committed one murder when he was 6. But it's iconic, okay? It was like the first of its kind, and you really got to respect that. It was for 1978. It was amazing. Halloween's 4 and 5 for John Carpenter. Excellent movies. I hate that now that we have to pretend that never existed, because they were amazing. They were great. So another point to him for those movies, but a point deducted for making it so those movies never existed. So screw you. Also, the casting of Donald for playing Dr. Loomis was really, really the right choice. He did a really great job. Even though I do prefer Malcolm's version, I do believe Donald did a great job, and, you know, rest his soul as well. Jamie Lee Curtis, like I said, I love her. She is a fantastic actress. I love her in almost everything she does, if not everything. I just don't think she was right for the part of Laurie Strode, at least in the first 2 movies. When she was in like H2O was awful, okay? It was awful, but she was in that movie, and it's just like, again, it just was not her role. The part of Laurie should have been done the way Scout did it. So let's leave that there. Also, let's put a sin on John Carpenter's version for Halloween 3, because I don't need to explain it. If you've seen it, I'm sorry you wasted your time too. I wasted my time twice. I watched that movie twice. Why did I do that to myself? I'm a masochist? I don't know. It literally has nothing to do with the plot, so if you skip it, please skip it. You will miss nothing. It has nothing to do with any of the other movies, okay? Let's go to the pros of Rob Zombie's. The casting. Couldn't have picked a better cast. You had so many iconic horror icons and legends in both movies. You had some brand new actors that you got to see for the first time, or maybe like the second time. I don't know if this wasn't Scout's first movie. She was in a couple of movies beforehand that were like B horror movies and stuff like that, where you see her, she again, is great at acting, but maybe this was like her first big thing, you know? You've got some breakout stars and you've got some older ones. The casting was phenomenal. Malcolm did a job, okay, as Dr. Loomis. He is the perfect choice. Sherry Moon Zombie killed it, as she always does. I believe she is an amazing actress. I do like seeing her as a villain more than I do like seeing her as like a good, or the protagonist of the movies. But Lords of Salem, everybody else hates it. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, so shut the hell up. Scout, like I said, this was her role. She did this. She did not come here to play. She did not come here to screw around. She did what she did, and she did it fantastically. Again, the kid's name. Why? I took French for like 2 years. But Dej, we're gonna call him Dej, okay? He, as his breakout role, his first role, you would think this kid was acting like the Olsen twins, like since they were like 8 months. He was 8 months. Fantastic. He played a very, very convincing, creepy ass, psychopathic little child, but also a very sweet and adorable and loving child. So he did a phenomenal job. Another point to Rob Zombie, because they give actual backstories. They give you emotion. They give you go like, so this is why he hated them, or this is what his like, if you guys watch serial killer documentaries, you know I do. I have since I was a very young child. And I know y'all do, because we all make fun jokes about it. The whole internet makes jokes about it, how we love serial killer documentaries and everything. Isn't one of your favorite parts is not even hearing about the crimes they committed? Really, it's what their childhood was like, what their family was like, what they were like at school, what did they like as children. You like to hear their backstories, and maybe like, was there abuse going on? Was there trouble at school? What was their IQ like? You like to hear that information, because you're like, okay, now I see why he would think that way, or why he did what he did, or why he didn't do what he didn't do. There is more realistic behavior in Rob Zombie's. Again, like I said, I know the first one was in '78, so you were only allowed to act a certain way, but like the realistic behavior, like the post-traumatic stress disorder of Laurie in Halloween 2. It's like, what were you supposed to do? Just expect her to go back to just being like, I don't know, you know, oh, that sucks. No, she's gonna be psychotic now. It's just more convincing. It's more convincing, and like I said, the acting was just so well done, and I really applaud all the actors and actresses involved in that movie, whether it was a very small part or a very large part. Y'all did a really great job. Even Chase Wright Vennick, you did your best, kid, and you are adorable, and maybe this role wasn't for you, but I'm sure, you know, other things will come. Side note, this Dej, we're calling him Dej, you can find him on Instagram and YouTube now. He is like some kind of murder rapper. He raps now. Good for him. The thing I do like about his rap music, or at least his rap videos, is he does use a lot the props from the Halloween movies that he was allowed to keep. So he does keep kind of like where he started to where he is now. He's not very successful right now, but you know, he's doing what he loves. It's his passion. Let him do what he loves, okay? Let him do it. Because you don't know, he might have been a really good Michael Myers for a reason. Maybe he is a little. So, best rapper since Eminem. Does kind of remind, his style does kind of remind me like he's getting a lot of inspiration from Insane Clown Posse. And if you know me personally, you know my feelings of the Insane Clown Posse. If you don't, I hate them. Not them personally, because I know that they actually do a lot for their community and they do a lot for the world, and I know that they're actually very good people. Their music, I hate, I can't stand, I never could, and people used to call me Juggalette because they knew it would piss me off because it's stupid. Now I'm not only going to be pissing off the horror community, I'm going to be pissing off the Juggalos and the Juggalette family. Oh, they're dangerous. Whoop whoop, that's what you guys say? Okay. Love you all. Now the very few cons of the Rob Zombie is a lot of it is done for shock value. And first of all, you gotta expect that it's a Rob Zombie movie, or Rob Zombie movies, okay? If you've seen any of his movies, all of it is shock value. If you've seen his music videos, all of them are shock value. It's what he does. That's what he does. There is an over amount of gore, like with John Carpenter's Halloween. You didn't see enough. With Rob Zombie's, you saw a little there was a little too much. But again, that's Rob Zombie's style. You can't expect anything else. Again, gratuitous nudity. I understand you want to see some nudity in the movies a little bit here and there, fine. But there's like a ton. And again, it's Rob Zombie movies. If you've seen any of them, there's a lot of sex. There's a lot of nudity. Lots of sexual A and a lot of R word going on in his movies. So, I mean, what you can't really say, like, I'm disappointed in him. No, that's just his style. Also, puking. That's not just Rob Zombie. I'm saying in general, can we please, and I'm not the only person that says this, okay? In general, can we please stop putting puking in horror movies? It's not necessary. It's disgusting. It's not scary. It's gross. And it's not needed. Okay? Okay. So that was my very long-winded ADD rant on why I believe Rob Zombie's Halloween movies, 1 and 2, were better than all of John Carpenter's Halloween movies. This is just, of course, my opinion, and I'm sure like maybe 10 other people out there will agree with me. Everybody else is going to be giving me the middle finger, hoping that I die. The horror community can be very brutal. I'm aware of this. I'm a part of the horror community. So, if you guys... The fact that you guys like John Carpenter's Halloween movies better, that's completely fine. Like I said, they're good movies. So, 3 or 4 of them are good movies. There's like 9 or 10. I don't know how many of them there. There's a lot. But now, we're only supposed to remember 2. That just, oh my god. If you guys have never seen any of these movies, and you're just here watching this video and you're like, what the hell are these I'm never gonna watch, like, because on this channel I do mostly makeup and beauty and now some of my witchy stuff, and you're all like, oh, okay. I mean, like, I've done like horror stuff before, but not like this deep into it, I guess. People say that I'm biased because I've had a friendly relationship it's not a relationship or anything, but with Scout online, we've communicated back and forth a few times. Like I said, she shared my stuff. She's commented on my stuff. We have agreed that we would totally get along and should be friends and hang out someday. She is like I said, she's a beautiful person. They also say I'm biased because I just I've loved Rob Zombie since I was a young teenager. I'm not biased by that because here's the thing. Rob Zombie's movie 31 sucked. It was awful. By far his worst movie. The casting, fantastic. Fantastic casting. The concept, awesome. Love the concept. Visuals, okay, not terrible. Somehow the movie just ended up being shit. It was awful. I hated it. I'm not the only one who hated it, and was like completely disappointed by it, and by the end of the movie was like, what the fuck? So, I do believe Rob Zombie can make bad movies. He has made bad movies, at least one. You know, I'm not biased by it because he's also come out with bad music videos. He's come out with bad songs. So just because I love Rob Zombie and I love his wife, if you want to say I'm biased, say I'm biased because of Sherry Moon Zombie, because I love her more. Shit, yeah, I do. Her and Christina Ricci were the ones who made me really start questioning my sexuality, if I really was bisexual or not. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful or anything, or like sarcastic, like seriously. But I'm just saying both movie franchises are fantastic. Well, three or four of the original ones are fantastic. John Carpenter was great at doing this, especially again for like the fourth time I'm saying this was starting out in the late 70s. So for that, you know, iconic. Rob Zombie, I am very, 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 very happy that he decided to go into filmmaking as well as keeping up with his music and music videos and everything, because his music videos kind of were always kind of like his creative short movies. So I think he did a really good job. A lot of people don't like any of Rob Zombie's movies except for like House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. Like, those are the only movies I hear people from Rob Zombie say they actually enjoyed. I enjoyed all of them except, like I said, 431, which it's just such a disappointment. That is my opinion. If you guys have seen these movies, or at least some of these movies, to know at least enough about what I am talking about, leave your comments below. Please try to be respectful. If you want to disagree with me, please feel free to disagree with me and let me know why you disagree with me. If there are things that I discussed that you do agree with me with, let me know. If there are things that I've missed, please. I'm sure there's a billion things I've missed. There's things that I've over talked about and over explained, because like I said, ADD brain, this is how I live every single day. So this is just a video of how normal conversations are with Blaze. Hi, nice to meet you. This video is going to take days to edit, so really looking forward to that. No, actually I am, because I actually do enjoy editing. But yes, I wanted to get this video out for Halloween season, spooky season, and Blazeween. After 2 years, I finally did it, and it's probably going to be a really bad video because I don't know when to shut my mouth. I'm from Jersey. Again, please let me know all your thoughts and everything, opinions down below if you care to comment. Remember that I do, since an incident last April, which I think people have been asking me to discuss what happened. I might go into a little bit without naming real names or anything like that, about what happened last April with my seriously insane stalker, which was a very serious situation. But I now have to approve comments, so I have to read comments before I will let them be listed publicly. So if you don't see your comment pop up right away, don't freak out or anything. It's just because I haven't read it yet and I need to approve it. Unless it's going to be one of you guys telling me to eat a dick or to kill myself or anything like that, then your comments will not be shown, okay? But if you guys like these kinds of, not just horror movie review rants, but if just like rants in general, or if you guys want me to do more movie things or more explanations in the horror community, that type of thing, please let me know that down below. And if you guys like affordable makeup and hauls and beauty stuff and witchy stuff, make sure to go down below, hit the subscribe button, and subscribe to this channel right now and become a Blazer and a part of the Blaze Nation. We'd love to have you here as long as you're as wicked as we are. If you are still here, put this in the comments. You can put that either with your comment or just comment that, because I will be hella impressed if you actually are still here, because man, you must be bored out of your mind or really, really angry and really just frustrated and writing down every single thing that I am saying so you can bash me in the comments, and bravo. Alright, I will talk to you guys soon, and until next time, my beautiful ones, stay wicked. 'Cause